Green, the
What
edge
lost you?
from Marshall. And the fact that he fell to the 59th pick and you drafted a dude who was far and away less superior, less of a ball player than a dude that went 8 picks later who honestly should have been a first round draft pick. Come on, man. So for that, I got the Panthers losing. I do think they had a solid draft. I really don't think anybody had a terrible draft in the NFC. There was the worst, which we'll get to that when we cover the NFC East. I think that team that I chose for the NFC East had the worst draft in the NFC. But honestly, this was like a really solid draft this year.
It really was.
Yeah. So who you got? Who you got?
Man, yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that assessment. Am I good?
Yeah, you good?
Okay, cool beans. And the way you felt about the NFC South, man, I feel the same about the AFC South. Like really, my winner was Tennessee, right? I think Tennessee had to go with Cam Ward. He was a long shot, and I gotta shout my boy Marshall out because Marshall's been talking to me about Cam Ward for the last 3 seasons. So I
It's
refuse.
2021, dog. I went and checked our text.
Yeah, I refuse, and we got the receipts, man, to not give you your just due on that, man. So yeah, definitely getting Cam Ward at 1 was huge. All the intangibles, got the chip on his shoulder by his path, to the NFL. But I think the kid they got out of Florida, the receiver they got, well, 4th round, Shamir DK. I think that was a good pickup for him, a great value pick. You got your edge rusher from UCLA. Like I said, I like the way he rushes the passer. I wasn't really impressed with his run defense, but as far as somebody just getting after the quarterback, man, I love what he can do. The big kid I was talking about from Stanford, Ayo Manor, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mhm.
He gave Travis, fits, Travis Hunter in their game. And then you got the Texas kid. You go ahead and get Gunnar Ham in the late 4th round at tight end. So I think Tennessee definitely filled a lot of needs with their draft. And when you the number one drafting team, that's what you're supposed to do. You got a lot of holes, right? So Tennessee was my winner in that division. Unfortunately, I don't have a loser. I think between Jacksonville, getting Travis Hunter, creating the waves they did with a lot of their picks. You look at Indianapolis, they got pretty much a Dallas Clark clone in the tight end from Penn
Mhm.
State. I love that pick, especially with their quarterback situation. You give Anthony Richardson a security blanket of a good tight end, man, I think that's huge. Or if it's Daniel Jones, I don't, who knows, right? But I love what Tennessee did. And then you got the Texans. Man, they got both of those receivers from Iowa State. 2 different skill
Mhm.
sets, but man, 2 dogs. And you look at them losing. You know what I'm saying? What's my boy? Went to New England. Uh,
No, it's Diggs.
Stephon
Diggs.
Diggs. You lose Stephon Diggs. Tank Dell's probably gonna be out for the season with his injury. So you immediately go with those receivers. And they got a lot of good value picks on that, man. So I really can't call a loser in that division, man. But I do feel like Tennessee did the most with what they had to do in the draft.
My only complaint with the Jags' draft is they've got to be 100% on Trevor Lawrence. 100% on Trevor Lawrence because this next upcoming QB class, even if Arch doesn't come out, is one of the best QB
Let's
classes
go.
we've had in
My
ages.
God, yeah.
I mean, you got the dude from South Carolina who I watched single handedly beat the crap out of OU and Sellers. Drew Allard from Penn State.
Yes,
Arch
sir.
Manning if he comes out from Texas. Dude, there's just, I mean, look at the SEC quarterbacks alone, and you
Alone,
have
yeah.
all 14 of those guys, except maybe, well, actually, all 14 or 12. Is it 12 or 14? All 12 uh, have a shot in the NFL. Now, they're not going to go high, not all of them, but I mean,
Right.
there's some dudes coming out
You got
next
the
year
dudes,
that
yeah.
if
Yeah,
you're
for
not
sure.
all in, yeah, if you're not all in on Trevor Lawrence, say they have a bad season, then
Right.
the Cleveland Browns are probably going to have a high pick next year. And if Jacksonville sucks because of Trevor Lawrence, they're going to have another high pick. They could pretty much, they're going to have 2 high picks. They can go get that first round quarterback, number 1 overall, whichever one they want. That was my
Absolutely.
only thing with the Jags. But if they're all in on Trevor Lawrence and he bounces back like he did the sophomore season, Travis Hunter going to be getting some snaps. I don't like the fact that they're already talking about putting him on a pitch count or snap count.
Right.
The dude played 145 snaps in college. He's not going to play that in the NFL.
For
But
sure.
don't limit him to 80 snaps. Or don't limit him to gimmick defensive plays.
Absolutely.
Let the dude go out and play ball. That's what he wants to play. He wants to play ball. He's been two-way his whole career.
Yeah.
He's got the stamina to prove it. Go look at his workout films while they're running gassers and his teammates are on the sideline puking, he's still running. I mean, dude's got the stamina.
He's a guy. He's a
So
guy.
to go on to the NFC North,
Okay.
I'm gonna really surprise you with this one. My winners, much as I hate to say it,
Come
is
on,
the
man.
Green Bay Packers.
Okay. I like
The
it.
fact that they haven't drafted, I want to say the stats was they haven't drafted a first round receiver in like 20 plus years. They got
Okay. Yeah.
Matthew
It's something
Golden
crazy.
out of Texas. That dude is a baller. I watched him destroy OU. I watched Quinn just chunk the ball down the field, and the dude's going to go get it. He fits really well in what they have already at receiver. I do think he'll be their true number one with Dobbs, being more of a slot guy, which I think he's more comfortable with.
Right.
So that in itself is a great pick.
Okay.
They got offensive tackle from NC State, and I'm not even gonna try to pronounce the last name. His first name's Anthony.
Okay.
He's one of the there. You'll see a lot of the tackles in this year's draft. They have the ability to flip into guard, and depending on what happens at tackle for the Packers, the fact that he could come in and be a swing player and probably start at right guard for them from day one
Right.
that's great value. Because I mean, the dude, and even if he doesn't start, the fact that he can play and he can play all five positions. He played center in high school, which is I know he hasn't played in a while. But if you played that center position, you know that once you get the grasp of it, after a couple months of training, you're going to pick it right back up.
Absolutely.
My favorite pick for them, though, honestly, was Micah Robinson, a cornerback from Tulane. I watched him a lot last year at Tulane because Tulane had that quarterback. Can't remember his name, but I love watching him play.
Uh-huh.
He was like a bigger version of Baker Mayfield.
He transferred
And
somewhere too,
he
didn't
is, yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
He went to a bigger program I
He
don't
did.
remember
I
which
got to
one.
check. I got to check where, but yeah, he did go somewhere.
USC maybe. I don't know. He went to
Right.
a bigger program.
For sure.
But the fact that you don't know what's going to happen with Jair Alexander, might become a Minnesota Viking. Who knows? But you got him in the 7th round. And he has a chance to be a nickel corner day one, and he's definitely going to help on special teams. I don't think he'll have any problems making the team. With that, the Packers got everybody they drafted has a chance to make the team, if not help out as almost starter like snap counts.
For sure.
My loser for the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. Okay. From coming from you,
They're
wow.
that's my team. I ride or die.
Right.
But their worst pick, I like all their draft picks except one. And it was Kobe King, linebacker from Penn State.
Okay.
Right
Okay.
now, we have a plethora of linebackers
Yeah.
that are either going to be that are outside rushers when we go 3-4, or that. So we have plenty of outsiders. This dude's going to be inside. We already have Ivan Pace. We still got Brian Asamoah from Oklahoma,
Okay.
who we drafted a couple years back. I mean, it's not really a depth piece. I don't really know if he makes. I don't even think he's going to make the team. And the fact that they drafted him in the 6th round
Gotcha.
kind of leads, credence to that. But the real reason the Vikings are the losers, and I
Okay.
don't think they had a bad draft. I think they had a pretty good draft. I rated it at B. But they just didn't have any picks, man. They didn't have a 2nd
There
round
you go.
pick. They didn't have a 4th round pick. They had 2 6th round picks, a 5th round pick, a 3rd round pick, and a 1st round pick. They had the least amount of draft capital in the entire draft.
Okay.
And we traded some of our picks for Sam Howell. I do think he's a good backup addition for JJ McCarthy. But if you're going to get JJ a backup, I probably would have got somebody with a little bit more wisdom and knowledge